Cool. Let's start our today's discussion. So let's start with a couple round of introduction and then we will discuss a few things. So I think most of you knows me. How many of you know me? Can you raise your hand? How many of you know me? Raise a hand or a thumbs up is fine. Awesome. I think the people who are with me in the different discussion sessions, maybe in February, in November, they pretty much know about me, who am I, but the people who are not in my discussion sessions and all. I am Nishant. I am working with Microsoft, particularly in the GitHub, which is a developer, which comes under the developer division of the Microsoft. Microsoft acquired GitHub in 2018. Okay. I'm talking about GitHub. Okay, the pen and pad is not so good today. No worries. I am a senior software engineer. I'm having an industry experience of around 9 years now. I started my career with Cisco, then I moved to Myntra, then Microsoft, now GitHub. Okay, I counted Microsoft and GitHub as a different experiences because of the products. In Microsoft, I was working on Azure DevOps products, and in GitHub, I am working on NPM. NPM is a Node Package Manager. So the people who uses JavaScript as a language or a tag, they know what the NPM is. NPM is an integral part of Node. So NPM is the world's largest public registry for JavaScript packages. Okay. Now, what we are going to, so this is about me. Right now, I am in New York. I moved around March, and Feb discussion group was my last discussion group. After that, I moved to the mentorship. I am taking a break now. I'm not sure when I'm going to back to the teaching again. Yeah, so the next thing is what we are going to do today. So all of you are learning DSA. Okay, that's the very first step. And the motive behind in our all of this thing in our head is to switch the company for a better work-life balance, for a better paycheck, for better perks, and for better learnings. Okay, all of these things. So the very first step you have already taken off learning the DSA. Now the second step is once you learn the DSA or the system design or all both the things, how you strategize your preparation. Okay, so that is very, very important because there is a lot of things to go through. Okay, a lot of things to go through, whether you should go through DSA more, whether you should go through the system design more, whether you should go for your tech more. So there are multiple things around it. Okay, so how we are going to discuss today we are going to discuss first is for whom what is important, for whom what is important most. That is the better to say. Then we are going to discuss about how to prepare for DSA, how to prepare for system design, how much month you should give in, all this thing. Then we will discuss about DSA specific, how you should prepare for the DSA. Then we will talk about the system design, how you should prepare for the system design and all that part. Okay. Then we will talk about, or in between we will talk about the different myth which you heard of or which you are keep hearing on from your colleagues or from your surrounding friends or somewhere. Then we will a little bit talk about the resume building, how our resume should look like, what details should we include in, how much detail we should include in. Okay, so this is. In this today's session, what we are going to do is, whatever you have the question, please put it in the chat. Okay, so in every 15 minutes or in every after completing a particular section of the discussion, I will go to the chat, I will look into the questions. Okay, and please be mindful of if somebody already asked a question, if you have the same question, don't post it. Okay, so that's the thing, because we are right now a larger group of people. And yeah, so let's start. Okay. The very first thing is what is more important. Okay, when you Prep. Okay. This question depends on how much experience you have. It's completely depends on how much experience you have. For example, if you have 0 to 3 years of experience, okay, since people are becoming more and more aware, I will break it into 0 to 2 years of experience, and I will break it to 2 to 5 years of experience, not five even actually, 2 to 7 years of experience, and then I will, okay, let's make it 2 to 4, and then let's make it 4 to 7 years of experience, and then let's make it 7 to 12 or 13 years of experience, and then we will do 13 plus. Okay. So majorly on in this part, there are the things which are more important is there are three things which is important. So I'm talking in terms of FANG companies. Okay. FANG, you can say FANG or you can say MANG, whatever you want to say. Okay. Since the name of the Facebook is changed to Meta. Okay. Before going into the discussion, again, am I audible? Am I clear? Is my voice clear? A thumbs up will be great. You don't need to put it in chat. Thumbs up will be great. Awesome. I'm a little bit under weather, so I think my pronunciation or my accent will be a little bit different. Okay, I will try to be as clear as possible. Cool. Now, I generally divide the whole preparation into 4 parts. What are the 4 parts are? Should I make a table? That will be far better. Insert table, blah, 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 blah. Let's insert a table. That is, we'll put years, 0 to 2, 2 to 4. This is year of experience, huh? 4 to 7, 7 to 13, and then we can insert one more. 13 plus. Or let's say 13 to 17, and then let's go for 17 plus. Okay, and it happens, believe me. I have the students who have 17 years of experience. Okay. So what are the different categories of the preparation? Okay, or what are the skill sets you need to be aware of when you are doing the preparation? Okay, so the very first and foremost thing is the DSA. Okay, then comes system design, then comes your tech, then comes your behavior. Okay, we are going to talk about each and everything in detail. Okay, and guys, I do a lot of spelling mistakes, so please forgive me for that. System design. Okay, data structure is okay. So these are the major division which I do generally. Okay, so nowadays there is nothing called as HR round, there is nothing called as any other, but behavioral is a must thing right now, which I have seen in a recent year where Microsoft, Amazon, all these companies are focusing on the behavioral aspects a lot. Okay, so first let's talk about the data structures and algorithm. Okay, so I'm talking in terms of 100%. Okay, and 100% where the focus is more. So if you look at the 100%, for a 0 to 2 years of experience, this should be like 80%, not even 80. This should be like 90%. System design is NA, tech is NA, behavioral is like 10%. Okay, 10%. So when we talk about behavior, okay, data structures and algorithm is everybody is clear. What the data structures and algorithm? The question comes is why it is asked. So data structures and algorithm is a proper skill set where they can judge you irrespective of the language, you know, that how you are good in solving the problems. Okay, and the problems are nothing but they are very basic things. If you look around you, everything is data. If you're writing a single piece of code also, that is just for the data only. Okay, so that's why they are more they have make a mandatory requirement of for a person to be like a good in problem solving part. Okay, once so they are more interested in how a person solve a problem rather than how you get a result. Okay, so that is called as a thought process. So you should be focusing on building your thought process. So once you have a thought process is how you can think in multiple direction. Okay, so suppose I have given a problem. Okay, and I can tweak it. I can change the problem also. Then how you will choose your approach, or how you will choose the better approach as per that situation. Okay, you should know. So that is kind of a thing uh, will be judged in the your data succession algorithm. Okay, when we talk about system design is again, system design rounds are very ambiguous in nature, or very you cannot say that anything is right or wrong. But in system design interview, you should know the whole concepts. Okay, because right now everyone is working in a distributed systems. Almost everyone is working in a distributed system. Even if you are going to, even if you are not right now, but if you are going to the FANG company, you will be working on the distributed systems. Okay, means there will be microservices, or even if it is monolithic, but you should be know, or you should be aware of what are the different components in a system. You need a data store, you need some kind of a caching, you need a API gateway, you need a load balancer, you need a service and everything. So you need a kind of a telemetry. So that's the thing. So all the concepts you should know and where to apply. And based on the condition or based on the requirements, again, you should know that what are the different ambiguity, and you should be asking the question from the interviewer instead of interviewer asking the question from you. Okay, this is how you drive a system design. Okay, so for example, suppose somebody asks me to design a notification system. I can ask them, okay, how responsive it should be. It should be in real time. It should can have a delay. It makes this simple question change the whole perspective of the design. Real time things are needs very high compute rather than the things which can be a bit delay. Okay, so you should know the asset properties. You should know the difference between the SQL and the NoSQL. So nothing is wrong, but you should know the ambiguities in the system. So somebody asks you that, okay, what about the data store? So your the first question is in your mind whether I'm going to use a SQL or NoSQL. How you will decide based on the system requirement whether you need a asset property or not. You should know what is the asset property. Then if you say that NoSQL, okay, are you? It doesn't depend whether SQL or NoSQL. Did you need a sharding or not? Did you need a vertical scaling or a horizontal scaling? All these concepts you should know. Okay, even if you don't want to answer it by yourself, you can ask the interviewer, okay, where you are looking more for, whether the vertical scaling or the horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling means sharding. If you are doing the sharding, how your shards will look like, based on what you will do the sharding. Okay, then you can talk about eventual consistency, that okay, the real time in the eventual consistency also you can tune it to the high consistency and the low consistency. Okay, same thing with the caching. You have three type of the cache: write back, write through, all this. You can talk about it. Okay, so this is the ambiguity. Nobody is expecting you to learn the whole tech. Like nobody is going to talk to you about, okay, do you know the DynamoDB? Okay, what are the internals of a DynamoDB? Nobody is going to ask you that, okay, do you know RabbitMQ or something? Do you know the internals of that? No, knowing the name, knowing the differences, what are the characteristics of them are more than enough in the system design. Okay, coming to the tech, very few companies are focusing on the tech. For example, Walmart. In the FANG companies, I have seen Walmart only, which focuses more on Java. So they might ask you about a little bit of the internal Java. Okay, so how the lambdas work in Java 8, how the filters are working, how the streaming is done, what are the different characteristics which you got in through the Java 8, and so it is, so it is like that. Okay, so tech you don't have to worry about. If you don't know, it's fine. But suppose if you are going in a company giving an interview for Java, If you know that they ask the Java questions, be mindful that you should be preparing at least few of the basics of the Java. Okay, for example, in the Microsoft, you have different organization. For example, you have Azure, you have your M360, which comprises your office and everything. You have supply chain, you have Azure. There are multiple places. So some of the interviews, they might ask you the concepts of operating system, like what is metaphors, what is semaphores, what is how you achieve the concurrency and everything like that. Okay, so you should be aware of that before going to the. So that is company specific. Okay. Behavioral questions. So behavioral questions are more like managerial questions. So behavioral questions generally asked in the hiring manager round. Okay, this are generally asked in the hiring manager round. Okay, so it is not necessary that they are going to be in hiring manager only. No, anybody can ask you. Okay, so what are the behavioral questions are? Behavioral questions are something like that. They can ask you, for example, can you give an example how you react when you had a conflict with your manager? What did you do when you find out that there was a bug in the product after you shipped the product? What you have done to improve the proficiency of your team? Okay, when what you have done when you had a conflict with your colleague, how you resolved it? Okay, so these are the few examples. Always do, I think these behavioral questions are very, very important if when you comes to the Microsoft, um, especially Amazon and GitHub like companies. So they focus on the leadership principles. So the way you should answer is called as the STAR. Okay, so what the STAR technique is, you have to explain the situation. Okay, you based on the situation, what is the task or the action item? What is the task you created? What action you take? And what is the result? Always be mindful of this result should be some quantitative value. Okay, for example, if somebody asks me that, okay, in what ways you have increased the proficiency in your team, I can say that, okay, as a new hire, I went through the all the onboarding documents and I improve and update the onboarding documents very well, and also added the few more processes into that. So because of that, it improves the proficiency or onboarding of a new hire by 20%. Okay, it should be quantitative. They can ask you how you come by 20%. So you can say that if a person vaguely spend like 100 hours on their 10 hours on their onboarding, now they are taking 8 hours only. Okay, so it should be some quantitative. Okay, if you're saying that, okay, I developed some product, it helped the customer, you should know how it helped the customer. You can say that it increases the revenue by 20%, it revenue increases the revenue by 30%, like that. You should have some quantity. Okay, like that. Cool. So coming back to the discussion again. Yeah. So for 2 to 4 years of experience, still you have to spend like 80% to your data success and algorithm. And then you have to spend like almost 15% to this, or I can say this is 70%, this is 15%, or better to say this is 20%. Tech is again, I will not say it will be much, and you can say again your 10% is for the behavioral questions. Okay. Next is, what about the people who have 4 to 7 years of experience? Again, 60% is the DSA, 30% is the system design. Okay. Tech is again depends on which company you are going, and the remaining 10% is the behavior. You are safe till 7 years of experience. Things changes a lot after 7 years of experience. Before going there, when I say this percent now, in system design, you have two parts, LLD and HLD. LLD is low level design. So low level design are the designs which are done on your object and the classes level. keeping the mind that the system is going to, the application is going to run on a single system. HLD is a high level design. It's a very much bigger ecosystem. Okay. So very much bigger ecosystem. So the people who are from 2 to 7 years of experience, specifically from 2 to 4, you should focus most on the LLD part. Okay, low level design part. The people who are from 4 to 7, you should focus on both LLD and HLD both. Okay, and the people who are 7 to 13 years of experience, your 30% will be system design, but the portion of HLD will be more. Okay, I will write here HLD be more. Okay, just HLD will be more. So here LLD will be more. Both are same. LLD and LLD and same, and HLD are same. Okay, now this is again NA, or you can give 10% to this, and again 10% will lie to your behavioral questions. Now, when you come to say 13 to 17 years of experience, either you are going to give an interview for the people's manager, engineering manager, or either you are going to give the interview for the your architect level or an individual contributor. But for both the cases, the interview are mostly going to be remain same. The difference where it comes is your behavioral. Okay, so in engineering manager profile, the behavioral questions will be more. Okay, the questions will be like how many reporters you have, how many people you have lead earlier, how you have resolved the conflicts between your direct reportees, how you have resolved the conflicts regarding the merit increase and everything. Okay, so that is again the case. Now, so I will say that it is 40%. This will become your 40%. This will like still I will give 10%. Since you have that much years of experience, you should know few tags, at least in which you have worked in. So suppose if I have 13 plus years of experience, I said that I have worked in RabbitMQ, then they should expect me that I should know inside and out of the RabbitMQ. So it is only about the things which you have worked on. If I have not worked on RabbitMQ, then nobody can ask me that what is the internal, because I have not worked on it. So why should I learn it? So I should say that the system design and algo is still 30%, 40%, 10%, and this becomes 20%. Okay. 70 plus of experience. You are still going to ask the DSA. DSA is still there. 50% is there for system design. So system design will be the deciding factor for you, not the DSA. Then again, you will going to have a tag 10%, and then you are going to have a 20% of the behavior. Okay, so it is like this. So you can see that how once you grow in your career path, the system design becomes start playing more and more prominent role. But still, the data structures and algorithm is going to be what I say, the mandatory factor in your interview process. Okay, that is the case. Cool. So hope I am making the sense so far. Before I go to the questions. If you are good, just give me a thumbs up. That will be fine. Okay. I have few questions in the chat window. In Snehal, I think I was quite loud. Okay, because put it a question. How much focus should be given for system design, specifically LLD for 1 and 2 years? I think that I have already answered this question. What are the common red flags you observe while rejecting a candidate? This is a very good question. So I will put it as, I will just copy this and I will discuss it. just after this. Is working core more important or the approach and the implementation in DSA? It is company specific. During visa interview, I was able to solve both DSA, but still rejected due to edge case failure and slow coding. Okay. Now the thing is, first of all, in DSA, the people who are in my discussion group, they specifically knows that in DSA, both the parts are very, very important. There are two parts: coming up with a best logic and writing a code. Since you are a coder programmer, you should be able to convert a logic into a code. So both are equivalent. So if somebody asks me that, okay, uh, if I ask him a question, they give me a best logic, I will ask them to write a code. Working code, if it is not a working code, that is also fine, because syntax, not everybody remember it, but there should not be any syntax error. So what is the main rationale behind asking to write a code is the edge cases. How much edge cases you can cover. So be mindful when you are giving an interview for the Microsoft, they focus most on the edge cases. Okay, not in the Amazon. So edge cases are very, very important. Okay, so so if you have a written round, you have to write a code in whatever the language you are comfortable and you have to pass all the test cases. But if it is a face-to-face interview, you have to be have the mindset that if you are able to come up with a logic, you should have the capability of converting a logic to a code. It's very, very important. Okay, and when they call a production level code, means there should not be any logical bug in it. Okay, so for example, if I'm writing a code for a plus b, and okay, if I'm just doing I'm doing a plus b, there are many edge cases which are possible. For example, I'm taking a and b both as the integer, and I'm passing a till the maximum range of the integer and b is some value. It will give me answer in negative. Okay, so we have to keep, because I specifically remember I have given an interview in Paytm some few years back when I was in Cisco. I had like 1 hour of, not 1 hour, 45 minutes of discussion on a question, simple question that you have to write a function to find the average of two integers. This simple question, I had a discussion for 45 minutes because there are a lot of edge cases you have. So that edge cases also show you how much you can think of different corner cases. Okay, so that is very, very important. Does front-end developer go through LLD, HLD rounds? I have not had any HLD round yet for front-end position. Is there any specific front-end? Oh, okay. So it's a good question. So how this thing changes for the front-end developers? So in the front-end developers, the thing is that tech becomes more prominent as compared to the system design. The tech is like, so suppose you said that you have worked in the React, Angular or something. So the questions will be more in that area. Okay, because when they say the front-end developer, they will be looking specific to the person who have the more tech knowledge as compared to the problem solver. So DSA is going to be like that only. There will be no difference in the DSA. But just give me a minute. Huh. So yeah, so still you should be prepared for everything. You never know. Okay, because the company like Amazon, Microsoft, they don't have any profiles for front end developers. They call the engineers as engineer itself. Even if you go for the round for profile for a front end, by any exception, then they are going to ask you the same things. Okay, because suppose as an engineer in Microsoft, I work on everything, even DevOps also. So mostly for the fan companies, you have to go through all these things. Next is Nishant, you as an interviewer, what do you look in a candidate when you interview them? Okay. Okay. I will take this question as a part of red flags. For LLD, what are all the resources you should we follow? For LLD, you should know about the system, the design patterns, and most importantly, you should know about the application of the design patterns and resources. I will ask Manu to share it with you guys. Okay, we'll compile a list of the resources and give it to you. I'm a .NET. Next question is, I'm a .NET developer, full stack dev. Does stack matter at all? Because most of the openings I see Java as a backend. Okay, first of all, guys, this question is, person is a .NET developer, full stack dev, and the stack matters because, okay, genuinely tell me how much difference you will see in the .NET or a Java or any other object-oriented language. There is not much except the syntactical error. Okay, most of the concepts are the same in every language. Now the thing is, even if you see the opening as a Java backend developer, it doesn't mean that you can't apply to it. You can apply to it, you can give the interview, but the work is in the Java. If you are able to work in the Java or you are comfortable moving to the Java, you can give the interview and then you can take up the job. For example, I was working in Myntra, I was a full stack developer in Java only. Okay. But when I moved to the Microsoft, I moved into the .NET framework. So it is, I'm pretty much comfortable with that, moving around the languages. So now I'm working in JavaScript. So that depends. I have seen few of my friends who are not comfortable moving around the languages, so they want to stuck with the same profile. So it depends on the profile whether you want to move it or not. Okay. My coding language is Java, so it Galaxy M51. Hope I answer your question. So the people who didn't put their name correctly, I am going to speak out whatever they put it. My coding language is Java, so it matters whatever language I'm using in my company. Like currently, I'm working on Golang. Okay, so for DSA, you can choose the language whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, or whatever the language you practice in it. It doesn't matter what currently you are using, because in my interviews, when I give the interview, I use Java as a language. Whether I am using JavaScript, .NET, C or C++ in my company currently, it doesn't matter. Any one language you can use it. Okay, whatever you are comfortable with. Cool. Hope I questions most of the I hope I answered most of the questions. Okay, cool. Let's move to the next part. So this is what we have seen so far is what important when you prepare. Okay, I will take this question since the people ask this question. I will take the questions in the next break. Break means I will discuss something and then I will take the questions. What are the common red flags when you observe while rejecting a candidate? Okay, first of all, don't ever think that the interviewer is there to reject you. Okay, interviewer is there to what the word is to pass you or is to take you into the company. First of all, we sit or any interview sit with that mindset. So the thing is, what we look into the candidate is few things. For example, again, the thought process. The major thing is the thought process. It's fine if he is not coming. I'm talking about face-to-face interview, because in your other interviews, like written edge cases and everything is scores and that got screen out to you or something. But I'm talking mostly about the face-to-face interviews. So the first and the foremost thing is the thought process. Okay, frankly saying, I don't even read the resume which is more than one page. I just read the name, current company, current tech, what he is working on, that's it. Then once I started with the interview in the DSA, I look at what is the thought process. Okay, means how differently or how in how many directions you can think of. Okay, in many of the interviews, I have accepted the solutions which I don't know, and they are good. They have the better complexity. Okay, then I look at the code. Code means not the exact code. Syntactical error is fine, but code with all the edge cases covered. and as many as what. Then the people who can open for hints. This is very, very important. People who are open for it. Sometimes what happens is, I have seen specifically when I was interviewing people for Myntra, I have seen the people from the Amazon, Microsoft, this company also come for the interview and they are not open for the hints. They are like, okay, my solution is the only solution. I will not take the hints. So this rigidness is very, very difficult for us to take the candidate. Why? Because the person has to work in a team. When you work in a team, you have to be open for all the suggestions. When you are open for all the suggestions, you have to select the best suggestions, but you need to justify why the other suggestions are not good. But you have to be open for uh, other suggestions. Okay, so that's the thing. You need to be open for all the suggestions. Think in that direction. Try to, because see, if I ask you a question, so definitely I know the answer and different approaches for that. So if I am giving you a hint, I'm not trying to make a trouble for you or divert you from the correct thing. No, I'm there to pass you the interview, not reject you. Okay, so I'm going to give you a correct hint. So be open for the hints. Think thoroughly on the hints. Okay, because what happens is when you give all the runs of the interview, okay, then there is a something called a debriefing. It happens in every FANG company. Okay, it happens. So debriefing is nothing. All the people who take the interview sit and discuss that how the candidate is. I have seen the people who are not so much well in tech or in system, but they are so good in taking the hints and all that part that they have accepted, because the single question is asked in the debriefing with everyone that whether do you want to see the same person working in your team or not. Okay, so the person who are very rigid, not open for suggestions or not good in discussions or something, how we can take in a team? It will be very difficult for us to work with such persons. Okay, so these are the certain red flags which will we see or which we think of while interviewing a candidate. Cool. Now, generally everybody knows how many round of interviews you have. I will write that as well. So mostly you will have 4 to 5 of round of interviews. So you can have 2 DSA, one system design, and one mix up. So either it could be system design or either could be DSA based on your experience level. And then you have one hiring manager round. All this round are quite important. Okay. So few companies are like, when I say 2 DSA, few companies take one round of the screening and then start interviewing. So you can say that one written round and the 4 face-to-face rounds, or you can say in total 5 rounds of interview, how you want to take it. But this is a general thing which happens in the FANG companies. It can be more, it can be less. It depends how you're what I say, how you are performing in the interviews. Okay, so that is. And guys, always keep one notion in your head. Always keep one notion in your head. If someone is taking your interview now, be keep your any knowledge or pride or ego below to that person, because if he is interviewing you means he is already at that position which you are seeking of. Or even if he is not at that, but the skill set for which he is taking the interview, he is more proficient than you, or he is equal to you, not less than that. Okay, so be mindful of that. So while giving the interview, be respectful. Okay, I have seen few candidates who are getting interviewed for a higher position, but they are talking like anything. They are not taking the thing seriously, and that is very, very went into a negative side for them. Okay, be open. So it's a discussion. Don't think like a interview. And I will tell you, in interviewers also you will find the exceptions, like the opposites. The people who just want the exact approach what they know of, the people who just want the things to be done in the way they know. Okay, they are not open to the new solution or something. There are some exceptions, but they are very less. In my whole career experience, I have seen only 1 or 2 persons like that. Otherwise, everyone is good and nice to you and wants to make you comfortable as much as possible. Okay, this is about this. What I'm talking about. Okay, give me a minute. Behavioral, I already told you about. I have not went into the interview strategy yet. Okay, let's take the next question. Not next question. Means I will take the chat questions later now. The next thing is, how much time should we invest? How much investment? One investment is terms of time, second is on money. I will talk about both. When it is about time, see guys, right now the competition is very high because everybody wants to go into the FANG companies because of the work-life balance and everything. You need to invest something. Okay, so you need to invest to stand you out from them, because there is a crowd. If you go for a drive, there are 100 people, so you have to stand out from that. So one is your knowledge. Okay, another thing is, I will tell you in the money section. So the time you put it in makes you different. So God has given like 24 hours each and every one of us, but it's all, so there is a difference between the person who had the more knowledge than the person who has the knowledge, is the small habits, is how well managed their time is. Okay, so for example, I have seen a person working 10 hours in an office and cracking the IAS in the first attempt. Okay, I have seen this person who doesn't do anything, just preparing for the IAS, and he didn't clear it in the 5 attempts also. Both have given 24 hours. It depends on the mindset, habits, and all that part. So once you decide on go into a FANG company is preparing just for 3 to 4 months, change your habits. Okay, or add new habits. For example, if you are preparing for the DSA, first of all, give yourself at least 3 to 4 months of time. At least. Okay, months of time before start floating your resume. When I say floating your resume, means putting your resume in the market or asking someone to do this thing, what I say, referral or something. Okay, so in that 3 to 4 months, sacrifice other things. I am not saying to stop doing things, but sacrifice things. For example, stop partying. No, I'm sorry, less partying. So earlier, if you used to go out like uh, 3 to 4 weekends, bring it down to 2 weekends. Okay, try to find out what are the hurdles in your time management. For example, suppose if you have to commute for 1 hour to the office and you are commuting back from the 1 hour 2 hours, what you can do is you can make the system design notes while going to the office. Just read it out. Coming back to the office, read it out. Okay, or try to answer a system design question while commuting to the office, coming back from the office. For DSA, make a habit of solving at least 3 problems per day. Okay, in the morning. So if the people have a morning habits like running, walking, make the same habits in the morning of 3 hours to do the DSA. If you have to log in early, do it in the evening and made it a mandatory thing. Like you brush your teeth now every day, make it a mandatory thing. There are some exceptions that in certain days you will not be able to do a single question. That's fine, but it is 1 or 2 days in a month. It should not be like that 15 days in a month you are not doing and only 15 days you are doing it. This is what we call as a consistency. So if you make the small habits like this, you will not fail. Definitely you will not fail. Okay, it will take time, but you will not fail. I have seen the people who are not doing anything for a week and suddenly they wake up and solve 10 questions. No, it is not going to help you. Okay. So invest your time properly. You have 24 hours. Divide your time between your professional, personal, and the study time. Okay. It's very, very important. Second thing is money. Okay. When I say money, already you guys are spending on learning the skill sets. I think you all are finding the difference between learning the DSA from the YouTube and the learning the DSA from the mentors. Okay. The second thing is have the proper equipment with you before giving the interviews. What that means is, suppose you are giving a system design interview. Definitely you need to explain by making some diagram, block diagram or something. So have a graphic pen and tablet with you. So if I'm taking an interview, it will be very easy for me to get the understanding of the thought process of a candidate who is explaining me with the help of a graphic pen and tablet, because he can draw well. Okay, it doesn't cost much, 3,000, 2,000, like. So invest money in your, take the, if lead codes are coming to that also, lead code subscriptions. People ask me whether they should take a lead code subscriptions or not. You should take a lead code subscription. There is a definitely a difference between a subscription and the non-subscription thing. But what the difference is? See, first of all, you should make a habit of solving the lead code problems. Okay, lead code is very, very good platforms. Okay, and it is very important. It plays a crucial part. Okay, but the thing is, it has a compiler capability. So once you have a habit of, you stop finding the bugs in your code by yourself. Okay, you should have that also. So for example, in let code, how you should solve the problem is, write a solution by yourself, dry run the solution and try to find out what are the different edge cases it is failing, so that you can, when you submit a lit code solution, it get accepted in a single run. Okay, it should not go for the multiple submissions. Okay, make that habit, and once you have that habit, you will get 100% proficiency, close to 100% proficiency. Now, don't directly go and take the lit code subscription. First, solve the problems in the non-subscriptions. Okay, then once you have the habit, then go for the subscription. Directly don't buy it. Once, like 15 days, if you follow 3 problems per day and in 15 days you are consistent, then go and buy the subscription of the lit code. Okay, don't directly jump and buy the subscription. You will be wasting your money. So invest some money. Okay, so I will write that also. Buy pen tablet, lit code subscription. Okay, like such things. Cool. And don't buy the questionnaire from the Chinese website. They are fake. I've seen people do that also. Okay. Now, this is about this. Let's see what are the different questions we got here. Hope I'm clear so far. Are we good? Amit, Amar, Ayush, Brinda, Venkat, Vibhor, Vakil, Kram. Awesome. Let me go to the chat. How I can prepare resume or make public profile so that I can select it for the interview in the browser. Currently, I am a service based company. Okay, I will come to the resume building part, and I will come to the myth also. Resume building and myths. And the most popular myth is from switching from. Okay, instead of putting it here, I will put one more question is how to switch from service based to product based. I will come to that part also. Okay. Then does it matter a career gap between two jobs? It doesn't matter if you have a proper justification. So for example, if my health is not good, if I take a career break of 1 year, it is fine. It doesn't matter. Sometimes companies give a little bit of thought about it, but it does not matter that much. How to tackle the online assessment by solving the problems? So every company have their own online assessment tool. So it doesn't matter to you once you are good in coding. How much time will take to complete DSA and how many problem minimum need to be done? It's completely up to you. Okay. So when you say Krushitha, okay, Krushitha. So how much will time will it take to complete the DSA? It is not like that you can put some benchmark there. It is up to you how much time you have. Okay, it is about the consistency of solving the problem. As I said, give yourself 3 to 4 months of time and start solving the DSA also, start preparing for the system design also. I'm going to talk about that. Okay. So interview strategy also. I'm just writing it down so that I will not forget. DSA, and then you have system design. I will write tech also. Okay. So next question. I will answer a question here. Is it a better way to apply for a job via career page or combination of both? Then apply anywhere, everywhere. How to apply for jobs? Minimum amount per day we need to dedicate for a mini working professional. I will put this question also here. What are no for a working what is the minimum amount of time? See, it depends on you, but at least I say 2 to 3 hours daily you should put in. How to strategize the interview schedule? Okay, this will also I will take as a question. I will answer separately. Blah blah blah. Do we need to have achievements in resume? Okay, I will take it as a separate in the resume building. And how much minimum questions are required to solve in literature to get going? It's up to you. I have seen people who have solved like 50 questions. Okay, the question is how much minimum questions are required to solve in lit code to get confidence for the interview? Okay, there's no threshold. I have seen people who have solved 50 questions by themselves, giving a thorough thought in it, and get selected into Google. I have seen people who have solved 500 questions and they are not able to cross the single round of Microsoft also. So I have seen both kind of people. So it's about quality, not the quantity. So when you are solving problem, if you know each and every in and out of that solutions and everything, then it is a quality. Okay. If you just solve the problem by looking into the solution and say that, okay, oh, I have like 1,000 solid code solution. That is just a quantity. Okay. So it depends on how much, how much quality you are bringing in while you are solving the problems. Okay, cool. Before going to any other further questions, I want to start with the next important thing which you guys are waiting for. How to strategize the preparation. Okay, I will take all the other questions after that. Cool. So when I talk about DSA, let's talk about DSA first. So in DSA, how you should what I say, put a plan is, first of all, we need a plan. Okay, so the better to say planning instead of strategy. Okay, so suppose you have 100% of time. Okay, in this 100% of time, you need to think. Okay, let's take an example that will be really easy to see. Okay, suppose you have 3 months. Okay, guys, this is I'm taking an example with the numbers. You can change this number as per you by putting different variables, the value to the variables, like how many months you have, how much time you have. Okay. So suppose you have 3 months. Okay, so I'm dividing 3 months into 3 parts. first month, second month, third month. Okay. And every day I decided to give almost 2 hours, let's say 3 hours. Okay. So I'm talking about DSA only. So 3 hours of DSA. So what you should do in first month is, you should decide on, in first month, it means that you have 30 days. 30 days. Here also you have 30 days. Here you also have 30 days. Okay. So in the 30 days, I want to solve at least, so per day, I want to solve 3 problems. Okay. So how many problems it will contribute to? 90 problems. Okay. So same thing I'm going to do for the rest of the 3 months also. Okay, guys, it depends how much time you have. If you have less time, 3 problems will become 2 problems per day. If you have more time, 3 problems become 4 problems per day. It completely depends on your time. So I'm taking an average time of 3 hours. Okay. So in the very first month, I'm taking an example of let code problem complexity, like easy, hard, and all. So you have easy, medium, hard. Okay. So in the very first month, you should solve easy problem more, easy problem more, medium problem, or no hard problem. So if I put a percentage, it will be like you should solve at least 30 to 40% of your easy problem, and you should be solving at least 60% of your hard problem. Or let's do 60% of easy problem, 40% of hard problem, and 0%, 40% of medium problem, and 0% of your hard problem. Okay, like this. The same thing in the second month changes. Why? Because you are already a bit comfortable with the DSA. So what we can do, we can reduce the easy problem. We can reduce the easy problem by 30%, keeping this at 60% and bringing the 10% to the hard problem. Okay. In the third month, we will change again. What we will do? We will make the easy problem as 10%, medium problem as 60%, and the hard problem is 30%. Okay. So you will be seeing that we will be solving more the medium problem rather than the hard or the easy problem. Why is it so? Because what happens in the interview is, they will give you, like, they will take the interview for one and a half hour. Okay. So in 1 hour, we can have a medium problem take almost 30 minutes to get it all explained and everything. Okay. And a hard problem take 45 minutes. So generally people are asking medium problems more because they can cover more problems. So they can be more decisive on your thought process. Okay. So they will be asking more on the medium problem rather than the hard or the easier problem. Okay. So this should be. So you can divide 90 and take the 10%, and you can decide on how many problems easy will come fall under that. Cool. Similarly, the next thing comes up topics. Okay, what are the important topics we should focus on? So generally in the DSA, I divide the topics priority in 2 parts: priority 2, priority 3. Okay, so in the priority 1, I generally keep array. When I say array contains everything: searching, sorting, array problem, 2-pointer, sliding window, everything. Okay, then comes your trees. When I say trees is again binary tree, generic tree. You have everything. Okay, in the trees, binary tree is the most important part. Okay, then the binary search tree. So binary tree is the most important part. Then you come DP. DP is your dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is very, very important and focus more on that part. Then comes second. Second is linked list. Then stack. Then queue. Then priority queue. Okay. And the third, you will come to graph, bit manipulation. Bit manipulation is mathematics only, but you should do some practice on that. Okay. String matching algorithm is in the second priority. You can put it in the third also, but yeah, let's keep it in the second priority. Did I left? Okay. One more thing is, in the first one, I'm putting recursion. When I say recursion means backtracking problem. So sometimes in graph, I have told this particular argument in my discussion group is that in graph you have DFS, depth first search. So the application of the DFS and the backtracking is an application of recursion, both are same. So the problems like number of the islands, all this are I called as a backtracking. So backtracking I generally put in the first priority. Okay, so this is, and what next? Mostly this is okay. Now why I have divided into this bracket? So the number of the problems which you are solving, you should give 60% to this category. We should give not even 60, you should give 70% to this category. You should give, okay, let's give 60. You should give 30% to this category. And you should give 10% to this category of your total problem set. So if you have 100 problems, solve 60 problems of this topics, solve 30 problems of this topic, and solve 10 problems of this topic. Okay. Sometimes it happens that backtracking doesn't have that many problems, so it's fine. Okay. How should you do it is in a round robin fashion. Okay. What is a round robin fashion is, and it's very important. What is a round robin technique is, if you decided to solve, let's suppose, if you decided to solve 60 easy problem. Okay, for example, if you decided to solve easy 60 problems. Among this, divide based on that. The 60% of this, you will be solving the array topic and all that. Then 30% of the linked list and all that. And then, so what you will do is first solve array. What, suppose 10 problems of array, then solve 10 problems of tree, then solve 10 problems of DP or 5 problems of DP, then solve 5 problem backtracking, then solve linked list 5 problem. And then I have seen people spending too much time in a single topic. Okay, I have seen people solving like give the complete time to the array, they don't know where to stop it, and they won't able to cover other topics as well. So don't do that. Okay, so divide the problems among the topics, like 10 problem array, 10 problem, then tree, 10 problem, then DP, 5 problems. Okay, then backtracking, 5 problems. Okay, then take linked list. Now come to the second priority. In the linked list, take 5 problems. Stack, take 5 problems. Queue, take 5 problems. And once you are done with it, again go back to the array. Solve 10 more problems over it. 10 more problems of tree. Like that. Do like that. Okay. So don't stuck on that. So it's make it as a cycle. Okay. All this. Cool. So this is how you should do it in the DSA at least. Okay. Before going to the system design, am I clear on DSA? Jitendra Hari, Rishad, Rohit, Sushma, Suraj. Guys, you don't need to raise a hand. You can directly put your questions in the chat window. I will not resolve them. So the thing is, okay, let me take the questions one by one. Daily 2 or for DSA, right? It depends how much hours you have, but mostly you should give at least 2 to 3 hours daily. How many minimum questions are required to solve? I already answered. One problem, how much? Okay, this is a good question. So then one more question comes is how much time you should spend on solving one problem. So one problem, you should give at least 40 to 45 minutes. 40 to 45 minutes. Okay. Don't look at the solution. Whatever the techniques you know, whatever the directions you know, try to solve the problem with the help of that, even if it is brute force. If you're not able to solve that problem, park that problem or keep that problem aside and look at that problem again in 2 to 3 days. Revisit and try to solve it. Do this at least 2 3 times before looking at the solution. If you make a habit of looking at the solution, your brain will not progress. It will stuck. It will always be like, okay, I will just look at the solution, I will done with it, and I will solve more number of the problems. But that is wrong because you don't know how that problem is solved, what exactly it is being. You don't know the in and out. So give once you start giving proper time to the initial problems, you will see that the thought process will develop, and in the later problems, you will be taking less number of time in coming up with the solution. So do that. Don't directly look into the solution. That's a very, very bad habit. And don't try to keep the solution at all in your head. That is worst habit. I have seen people who keep the solution in their head, and what happens when they come for the interview, they when the question is asked, their brain is wired like that. They start looking for the solution among the things they remember. So they don't tackle the questions as a fresh question. Okay. And even if somebody tweak it, they won't able to handle it. Okay. So don't do that. Don't try to mug up anything. In graph, how much you should cover in the graph? You should know what are the terminologies. You should know what are the graph traversal techniques. You should know uh, the different algorithm, shortest path algorithm, minimum spanning tree. That is more than enough. So Rajat had a question that in Amazon and Oracle OCI, they ask the graph questions. So what happens, in companies, they have in the graph, specifically in the traversals now, they ask the questions on that. So traversal, as I mentioned earlier also, that the DFS applications and the backtrackings are same. So when the backtracking questions is asked, the people say that it's a graph question. Okay. So there is a little bit of overlap there, but it is asked that much only. More, they might ask you the topological sort question on dependency. That's it. Not much deeper than that. Okay, considering I solve the problem, how much time? It depends. So for example, if you have given 45 minutes for a problem, if you come up with a solution in 15 minutes, next 15 minutes you can think of what are the best alternatives there. Does solving DSA problem across multiple platform help out well? Guys, I suggest that choose one platform and solve the problem there. Okay, don't jump around the platforms. And also, guys, one more important thing is keep a track of Excel sheet. Prepare an Excel sheet. Okay, in the Excel sheet, this is very important what I'm going to talk about. So please listen to me carefully. Prepare an Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, put the lead code question. There is a number to every question, link, and the status of that. Status means whether it is need to be done, it is done, or need to be revisited. Okay, it is like to do, done, or revisit. Put three status and put remark. For example, you solve it, but you put a remark that I need to look at the alternate solution. I won't able to find now. I will look at it. Okay. This will help you a lot. It will give you a lot of confidence when you start building up this Excel. Okay. And it will help you in your preparation also. Okay. Should we cover algos like Dicasta, Bellman, Ford? Yeah, you can. Union Find is the sets, but yeah, you can do that. But Microsoft, I didn't see much about asking around the graphs, but you can do that. So next is where I was. This Excel. This Excel is very, very important to maintain. Now what happens is, one more question people generally ask me is, Nishant, we started preparation, we prepare well for 1 month, and because of some reason, we took a break of 15 days. Now we have to again restart the preparation. So in certain scenarios, what you should do is whenever you are restarting your preparation, start with the problems which are easy and you know the solutions. So it will give you the confidence. And the same thing happens is when you start giving the interview. So for example, you start preparing for the 3 months, you didn't put up your resume, but once you put up the resume, you start scheduling your interviews. So at that time, always try to, and specifically one day before the interview, don't try to solve the new problems. Okay, what happens is sometimes our brain try to able to get to the solution, sometimes not. So if one day before the interview your brain not able to get to the solution, you will start feeling demotivated that you will not know the answers. So because of that demotivation, whatever you are able to do, that you are not able to do that as well. Okay, so it is very important to not to solve any unknown questions just before the interviews. Always you can go through the things which you know. Okay, cool. Questions on this DSA part? Cool. The questions considering answer how much time should I, okay. Should we go should we revisit to all problem or always look into new problem? You can revisit your old problems. Okay. Can you write Excel correctly for reference, please? It's simple. The let code question number, question title, status, and remark. Now, you should revisit the old problems time to time. For example, in once in a month, you can go and see whether you can solve them again or not. Okay, but it doesn't like that you shouldn't be solving the new problem. It should, you should have a mix of everything. Okay. So I have an interesting question here. It happens with me that I found a question trick by looking at the solution. I don't realize. Okay, first of all, in DSA, there is nothing like tricks to solve a question. You need to understand why this question is solved with the help of this particular solution. Okay, because you try to remember the trick, that's why you forgot. Once you don't remember anything and you understood the concept. So tell me one thing. So do you know how to do 2 plus 2? Or it is by concept you know that how do you do 2 plus 2? It is like the same thing. So don't try to remember anything. Try to look into that why a particular solution is more appropriate for that. Okay. Why is that? Why that particular solution is looking into that and all that part. Cool. Okay. Coming to the next part, system design. Hope we are good in the DSA. Cool. System design preparation is different from the DSA. Okay. The things which are common to both, I will be talking in terms of that, but the things which are different. So system design is more of a concept. Okay. In system design, again, you have two things. One is LLD and the another one is HLD. So LLD is low level design, HLD is high level design. So the low level design, again, you need to should practice well how to draw the class diagram, and while doing the class diagram, or means basically they are called as UML diagrams. So you should practice well between the, so the most important UML diagrams are class diagrams, sequence diagrams are like that. So you should be aware of preparing, means you should be aware how, what they are, how you should, when to use and all that part. And in LLD, you should be well aware of the design patterns. So it is just not about the awareness, it's about the application also. So there are like 21 design patterns. So you can choose what are the important one, and then you can look at what are the different application or different situation where you can use the particular design pattern. So design patterns are categorized into three parts. Okay. Come to the HLD. HLD, you have something called as concepts and case studies. So concepts are you already aware of, like what are the types of load balancer, what is SQL versus no SQL, what is sharding, what is eventual consistency, and all that part. Okay. So these are called the concepts. The second thing is case studies, what you see on the YouTube and all that part, that how to design a Netflix and all this part. Okay. In system design, please maintain notes. Okay. For everything. In HLD, there you, if you look closely, you have categorization. For example, you have supply demand kind of a thing. For example, Uber, Ola, taxi aggregator. Then you have movie theater aggregator, which is vendor based. You have Swiggy. Okay, so there is no difference between Swiggy, Book My Show, and all this, because they are all vendor aggregator. They are not selling by themselves. They don't have their own product. They are selling based on the vendor. Okay, so they all, these all systems are the same. So you should do that. You should categorize that, and you should start preparing by answering or giving the mock interview. So you should give the mock interviews in the DSA also and the system designs also. So you have something called as PRAMP. Okay. So once you go to this website, it will allow you to have a mock interview in the DSA and system design and do that. It will give you a lot of confidence, especially in system design. So while in system design, you should be well aware of what is the functional requirement, what is non-functional requirement, and what are the different places where the ambiguities is. So for example, if I have to given a system design interview, how should I do it is, if I have given the problem statement, I will first write the functional requirement, non-functional requirement, and then I will start designing the system from low to high. Okay, there are two ways. Means I can start with single system and grow to the multiple systems, or I can directly start from the multiple system. But I will definitely give a thought to that. What are the different data stores I should need to use for asynchronous, where I should need to use the queue. What are the different failures can happen in the system? What are the different mm, things can happen in the system? Okay, so these are the things which we can thought of. Okay, so you should prepare all this in the notes, that okay, while giving the answer, I have to look at this different points. So while looking into the data store, there are multiple concepts, like as I told, like vertical and horizontal scaling. You can talk about sharding, you can talk about gossip protocols, you can talk about centralized manage of the servers, you can talk about decentralized. So you should have the whole list with you before, and you should be revising and make a habit of preparing for system design at least 1 hour day. Okay, this should be at least 1 hour per day. Okay, and again go through each, because since these are concept, it can skip our mind. So you can do it again and again and again in like 20-25 days. You can do that. Okay, go through the concepts and all this thing. Coming, hope system design I am clear. Can we ask to interview to change the DSA question? No, we cannot ask that, because you should be able to solve the question. Not, it's not about, see, once you are giving a thought, you are thinking about a solution of a DSA question and you are not able to do it, it's fine. Either interviewer will move to the next question or they will change it by themselves, but you cannot ask them to change the question. Can you help with the plan of a system design like you mentioned in the DSA? Solve 3 problems a day and priority plan. So the thing is, in system design, everything is the priority. So as per your experience level, you should be decide on where you are focusing more, LLD or HLD. In HLD, as I told you, have concepts and case study per hour, 1 hour per day. You should be focusing on all the things. There is no benchmarking like the questions here in the system design. The more you learn, the more you read, the better you become. Okay, the more the better arguments you can give in the system design. Okay, yeah, I know. Byte go, Alex. in the LinkedIn, he is getting more and more popular. He has two books which in the market right now, volume 1 and volume 2. People can use that. It's up to them. Okay. How many months should we give? System design, at least you should prepare for 1.5 month. At least you should give 1.5 month. Okay. Coming to the tech. Okay, because we have a lot of questions and less time, I will try to cover more. So tech is like Java or something. So tech, you don't have to spend much time. It depends on the company. So suppose you have a company interview next week. So what you can do, you can study for 1 or 2 days for that particular tech. For example, Java interview. You can go through the Java interview questions or the important questions like lambdas and threads, threading, multi-threading, all that part. Okay. Now tech, it on demand basis means if for example, if you're going to give an interview in Microsoft or Amazon, you don't have to go through the tech. Okay, if you're going in a Walmart, you have to go through the tech. So it depends on your company basis. Next is resume building. Before that, should we take these two section parallelly? Yes, you can take two section parallelly, DSA and system design, but once you are good in DSA, then only you can take parallelly. Sometimes a question comes which are not able to visualize the solution in such kind of situation. What should we do in the interview? You can take the hints and you can, if you are not able to do it, you can say, I'm not able to solve this. That's it. Do we need to learn the cloud concepts? Because my current company architecture is the highly dependent on Azure. You don't need to. You don't need to learn that. Coming to the resume building. Okay. So for resume building, now, you can follow the McDowell's, not uh, the author of Career Cup. No, what that lady name? Gail McDowell or something. Huh. So the resume should look like this. I'm sending the link to everyone. This is the link. I will take the screenshot also. So they have clearly mentioned that what you should be focusing on while preparing the resume and the exact thing you should be follow. Okay. Not much, not less. So if you are 2 to 5 years of experience, listen to me very carefully. If you have 2 to 5 or 7 years of experience, 0 to 5 years of experience, you should have only 1 page of resume. If you have 5 to 10 or 12 years of experience, you can have 2 to 3 pages. Okay, not more than that, because a longer resume doesn't help. Putting the achievements and all this thing doesn't matter. You have to sell out. Even putting the certification doesn't help. You want to put it, but be careful while putting it, because when you say that you are certified in this, it means that you know in and out of that certification. Okay, be prepared to get question on that part. Okay, so I will take the screenshot also. Just yeah, here it is. I think everybody can see it done. So pretty much you don't need to give your address also, but you can, it's up to you. Okay, let's use this. You can put address here, your name here, your phone number here, and your GitHub link and the LinkedIn link you can put up here. If you have done something in the open source and everything, it is quite visible in your GitHub profile that you can give. You can give your employment here. Okay, that is the most important part. One thing which I felt which is here is this language and technology you can give in the second most. Okay, in the second most you can give instead of in the bottom. In the second most you can give. Okay, then the education and that. Okay, so you can do like this. You can have employment snapshot. Snapshot means a summary that you have worked in Amazon from so and so, you have worked in Microsoft from so and so, like that. Then you can have languages and skill set. There you can mention that what are the different skills and everything you know. Okay, then you can have your education. Okay, where you have done an education. I don't nobody interested in your 12th or 10th, your graduation or your post graduation. That's it. Then you can go to in your employment summary. So this can have your projects, like in Amazon, what different projects you have worked on. While mentioning that, be that what is your role and responsibility and what is the tech stack you have used. This 2 points you should have. Similarly, if you have in like Microsoft, put that what and what is your designation, put role and responsibility and tech stack. This will, and that's it. And any additional certification or the achievements you want to put it, you can put it in down. Okay. So that's what you can follow. Cool. So employment snapshot, language skill set, education, employment summary. Employment summary will have the company, designation, year, role and responsibility, tech stack. Similarly, with the other company, if you have multiple project, you can follow the same thing for the multiple project also. Then you have the achievements. You can put whatever the achievements you want to. Don't put your hobbies, English, Hindi, father's name, mother's name. Don't do that. Don't put your signature here. Okay. So be as simple as possible. Be use as simple as simple language. Do that. Employee snapshot means simple. Amazon, you have worked from so year. Microsoft so and so year. It doesn't contain any information about your projects. It's just where you have worked so far. Do we need to? Okay, I think so. The answer is also there. Cool. So this is about the resume. One more question come before the resume. Just a minute. Let me pull that out. Do we need to have achievement in the resume to get selected for the interview? No. So what get you selected in the interview is your skill set, not your resume. Okay. Yes. In case of full stack developer, you should add the front end skill set also. Okay. And it is fine to show your on-site opportunities. And guys, please be truthful in your resume. Don't lie. If you have not done it, not done it. That's fine. I have seen my friends got selected into Microsoft, even they didn't do any project in their engineering graduation. Okay, just be truthful to that. Cool. Any questions? Are we good with the resume building? Sanket, Rohit, Ruchi, Pratyush, Pritesh, Rahul. Cool. Coming to the few more questions which we have is how to switch from the service-based to product-based company. So thing is, I will not lie to you. It's quite difficult to move from the service-based to the product-based companies. First, in terms of getting the calls. Second is the preparation and everything. So the thing is, there will be difficulty in getting the calls if you are in a service-based company, but it is not impossible. I have seen people moving from TCS to Cisco, Microsoft, Amazon. I have seen people moving from Infosys and all that. So it is quite possible, but you have to be patient and your preparation will be so well because you will get less chance to get it convert as compared to the person who is in a product-based company. Okay. So if you are in a service-based company and move to the product-based company, you have to be patient, you have to be prepared well, and you have to get as much as and apply everywhere. Just a minute, guys. Okay. Now, the thing is, sometimes you will get the direct opportunity to work with the FANG companies, but if you are not getting a direct opportunities, start your journey with the startups. Okay, with the entry level startups, then move to some stable startups or good companies like Myntra, Zomato, and all, and then move to the FANG companies. Okay, it will be a bit long journey, but it will help you. Okay, and it will definitely help you in the long term also. Okay, so switching from service based to product based is quite possible, and you will require a very good motivation in it. Okay. Cool. And so, and also guys, one more thing I have seen in the people is they are very specific to the companies. Okay, I want to go into the FANG companies only. I will not work, I will not leave if I will not go to into FANG company. That is wrong. There are very, very good product based companies in the country and overseas also, which are as equivalent to the FANG companies. For example, Salesforce, for example, VMwares. Okay, they are very, very good companies. They are very good in compensation also. So be open for everything. Okay, I understand there is a dream for everyone to work for Facebook, Meta, Google, and everything. You will reach eventually there, but be open for every opportunity which you will get. Okay, don't be choosy when you are moving from service based to the product base. Okay, it will be a very long journey, but you will eventually do it. Okay. Next come is how to apply for jobs. Hope I'm clear with how to switch from service based to product based. Okay. So next is there are multiple websites where you can apply for Naukri.com, InstaHire. You can go to Hirist. You can check in Indeed. Okay. You can LinkedIn jobs, career portals, everywhere you should do. And once you spend 3 months of preparation, okay, then you start doing this. Don't do before that. Okay, all this thing. So once prepare for three months, okay, and then start doing applying all these places, and make sure every day you are applying. Every day prepare a list of the companies and just maintain that whether you have applied or not. And also guys, when you start giving the interviews, prepare the interview schedule in such a way that you should not be giving interviews for two companies, not more than two companies in a week. Okay. So that's the thing. Key. uh, yeah. And it's fine if you suppose you got the call from Amazon, Microsoft, and Walmart for the interview. You can politely say that I have already interview scheduled in this week. Can you schedule my interview the next week? Or you can say that for next 15 days, my interviews are already scheduled. Can you do it in the third week? They will do that. Okay. So they will do that. The guys, the notice period hurdle is still there in the Indian market. We can't help it out. There's no shortcut in that. What you can say that in your resume is that the notice period is 3 months, but it's negotiable. And if manager agreed, I can reduce it in a month, so that at least your process can start for the interview. Okay, just saying that 3 months of notice period, it doesn't help. Cool. So these are the few things which I had in my mind regarding the preparation and everything. And guys, regarding myth, whatever you heard of, the negative comments in anyone's career, they are just the myth. Okay, for example, people say that don't switch frequently. It's a myth. You can switch frequently. It's up to you, because you have to maintain a balance between work and the pay. If work is good, pay is less, that is bad. If pay is more, work is not good, that is also bad. You have to maintain a balance between all of these things, so that you can so it's fine to switch. Okay, because you are putting so many hours, so many energy into a job, you should be satisfied from that. Okay, you always should look into the product, how much you can contribute into it, where it is going, all that things. So it will help you. Next question is, I have taken a break and preparing for DSA. Will it affect my next job? No. I have seen many people. So I will rephrase this question. Many of the student comes to me and say that, Nishant, I want to take a break to prepare for the DSA and all that, and I will try to get the interview. Okay. First of all, I don't suggest people to take a break from the job. What they can do is they can start less productive in their job and start preparing and more productive in the preparation. Okay, instead of just doing it. But still, if somebody had decided to take a break, it's fine. It will not hamper your job hunt or the job search or job preparation in any way. It is fine. The only difference is after some time you should be open minded or keep motivated that you will get a job. You should not be pressurized that you will not have a job and what you will do and all these thoughts. Should not do that. Okay, and keep yourself motivated. It is more and more important, because it is easy to get a demotivation, but it is very tough to get the remain motivation. Okay, so keep look at yourself only. You don't need to look at anybody else. Just look at yourself and see, look at the short things, that how you are a month earlier in the DSA and how you are today in the DSA. Because the people who are with me in the discussion group, I always ask one particular question, that how they feel about DSA once before they started with the discussion and once they completed the discussion. Okay, so look at yourself only. You don't need to look at any other motivation or anything. Look at yourself. See, we are in an industry which is keep on growing, keep on changing. We have to be with it, and it is everywhere. Everywhere we have the competition. It's not like that. So if you want to, so I will tell you one bitter truth. It's a very wrong sentence, but I'm going to say that we have to do the hardship. Okay, hard work in our lifetime. The people who have done the hard work in their school days are in the IITs. The people who have done the hard work in their graduation are did their masters from the top colleges and then working for the top companies. People who had done the hard work in their service based companies are working in the product based now. The people who had done in the hard work in the product based companies are working for the FANG companies, and people who are doing hard work in the FANG companies are working in a better positions. Okay, so you can't avoid the hard work. Eventually we have to do it. If we have not done in the past, it's fine, it's okay. Okay, but be prepared to do it now. If you do the hard work now, you will definitely achieve your goal. Okay, how to apply and get call directly from the international opportunities. So international opportunities, I think USA you can't do that. It's very tough. Canada and Europe is quite open. Europe is very much open. They allow the sponsorship of the visa and everything. So I need to look into the resources where you can get that. But yeah, it's it's there. Cool, guys. So I had this much content in my hand for today's discussion. If you have any questions, you can post it. I can take 10 more minutes to answer that question, and then we can wind it up. How to avoid service-based interview call as job portal if it is you can't avoid calls. It's up to you. You want to go ahead with it or not. Okay. So guys, whatever the questions you have, any top of the mind questions, please post it in the chat so I can help you with that. Will it be advisable if I straight away put down my paper and that I get more calls? No, it is not like that. How to handle why you're still looking if you already have an offer? Looking for better opportunities. Everybody does that. As many opportunities have written 3 years of can I apply to it as I'm just having as many opportunities have written 3. Yeah, you can still apply. So see, the people who have like 1.5 years experience, you can directly apply to Microsoft, Amazon, you can do that. Does previous organization brand value will be considered while shortlisting the resume? Sometimes not. So brand value is nothing like if you are from a, it doesn't, I don't think so it is that much matter. The thing is only companies like service base, they have the impact, but other company doesn't have that much. What we can give reasons for frequent job switch. You can say that what are committed to you is not given or fulfilled. You are looking for better opportunities. That's why you are doing the frequent switches and all that. Should we disclose current salary to the employer? Yes, you should. Otherwise, how you will get the better offer? They will be asking, what will be your current salary, then they will be giving you the more. Pritesh, hope I answer your question. Rishad, Vibhor, Snehal, hope I answer your questions. Cool. So thank you all for joining this session. I hope I help you in your strategy. Sudipta, can you post your question in the chat?
Yes.
So if you have question, you can stay. If you want to leave, you can. Cool. Hope this session will be fruitful for you. Call generally, I got they ask the current CTC and they directly ask me the expected how much. So current CTC plus 30%, you can ask for the expected CTC. It depends. You should be aware of what is current in the market and which organization is asking you. For example, if you have a current of 10 lakh in an organization like JP Morgan, D Shaw, they are asking, you can ask whatever you are paying in that band that you are expecting at least. Okay, because if you sell 13 LPA, that will also not justify to you, but answering like that, whatever the, as per the band you are expecting at least. What sort of things should we prepare for our current project when interview asks? You should know each and everything of your project. If you are working in a project, it means that you have pretty much every knowledge of that. They can ask to explain the current project well. They can ask you that you should have done that and that. They can ask you what is your contribution in your project, all that part. How can I get from referral from the fintech company? You can approach the people on the LinkedIn or you can approach the people through friends like that. If the existing offer is X, which is 50% more than the existing, can we ask 1.3x of the offer? When you can ask anything. If they are ready to pay, they can. But most of the companies have a pay band on the selected profiles or the profile on which you are selected. So they can't go beyond that much. So they can say no. Okay, because what happens is in India, the startup is disrupt the salary culture. Some startup are paying like 80 lakh, 60 lakh. But if you come to Microsoft, they won't pay you more than 40 lakh. And they straight say no because their payment is like that. So you should be open to that. What if I don't get the product-based company interview call? You should be open for your startup calls and everything. First, start with the preparation and then think about it. You definitely will get a call. At least one call you will definitely, I'm damn sure. If I get a job in the product company, that product there in the market for a decade and another program, but in a pilot which will be preferred. It depends on the company to company. I have seen the pilot version product get failed. For example, Google Hangout, they close it down, merge it with the chat. So it depends, completely depends. So the people who have the offer or multiple offers in hand and doesn't know which to take, please talk to your mentors. I believe everyone is assigned mentor here. Please take the advantage of that. What sort of things should we prepare for current project? Okay, this is done. Cool. I think I have answered all the questions. Okay, guys. So I'm stopping up here. If you have more questions, you can talk to your mentors. Okay. They will help you to clarify or help you as much as possible. Cool. See, nice question is recession is heading in US, Europe. Is it good to switch? No, it's up to you. Which company you are getting the offer and all this thing. Okay. It's again debatable question. If they are having open position, then they are taking the candidate. They won't lay off then. Okay. Otherwise, they won't have the open positions. Cool. Okay, guys. I was hard limit to stop here. Please, the one last thing is, please make sure you take the advantage of your mentor, assigned mentors, and spoke to them. They will really help you a lot in your preparation. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thanks for have a good night. Bye.